Dr. Sherry, and we are here. All right, let's see who's in the house. Hey, Miss Francis, how are you? Hola, Dr. Sherry, how are you today? I'm fine. I know we're not supposed to say Mr. or Mrs. Those are titles from the U.S. So, hi. Hey, all right, member Kelly, Grand Rising to you. Hey, Empress Lady. Oh, we had to take a hit last night from the Philadelphia Eagles, didn't we? But that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. We're coming back. Hey, greetings to you. Let's see who else is in the house. Hey, CJ Flash in the house. How are you? All right, Lady Ash. Hi. Oh, from Ohio. Hey, Ohio in the house. All right, you guys. So thank you so much for popping in today. As you see, I got my little notes. Oh, I forgot to get something. That's okay. We'll just talk about it. I really wanted to get it for you, but we'll talk about it. Okay, Grand Rising again. Okay, let me get started because I am not going to be on here as long as I was last time. In fact, let me go ahead and set my little. Did y'all see last week? I had to hurry up and get off this thing. Oh my goodness. I could not believe how long we had talked. But anyway, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, I need to begin because y'all, it's been so much. It is so much that's happening now. I am not kidding. I can't even keep up with it. It is so much that is transpiring now. It's unbelievable. And you know what? When I think back to studying and having these private life shows in the very beginning, they forecast. When I say they, those that are those that have been status corrected for a while, and those who have been the forerunners of this movement, they forecast this was going to happen. And I promise you not, it is happening the exact way they said it was going to happen. It's unbelievable. It is unbelievable. So first of all, let's go ahead and get set up for our live today. You know, I need you to give me the thumbs up, because when you give the thumbs ups, I need everybody, if you would, just a half a second, give the thumbs up, you guys, because it helps so much. It helps so much. You have no idea. It helps a lot to push this back. In fact, when you give the thumbs up, you'll see our count start to go up. So first of all, let's do that. Thank you to those who have gave me a donation last week. Y'all don't know, but it really warms my heart, because it really makes me feel like I'm appreciated. And it's not even about the amount. I don't care if you gave $1, $5, $10. It's just the thought of me getting on here week after week, updating you, listening to all of that stuff, and trying to summarize it into one little show. It makes me feel appreciated, and I thank you for that, because I understand now the impact of the exchange of energies. And it really is an exchange of energy. So if you would like to do an exchange of energy today, there it is right there. There's the Cash App. You can even Zelle. Okay, Zelle is I am Dr. Sherry at gmail.com. So I thank you again. And I want to make sure I always start the shows with that. Oh, you are thoroughly appreciated. Thank you. Hello, Janelyn and Jeremy. All right. Y'all come back at 6:30 p.m. today, Eastern Standard Time. All right, for our first show, which is called Case Watch. This is where we're going to be actually taking cases. Y'all know I have assisted many in understanding legalese. Okay, I am not an attorney, and I don't want to be. Okay, but I know just as much as they do. Let's be clear on that. But I've assisted a lot of people in trying to position them to be victorious in those criminal courts. And so Jeremy's going to join us today at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We had it right after this, you guys, but it was too much. And then I had put it at 6, and I said, you know what? I told my team, just align it with the same time we do our orientation, just so we can keep it simple. So Jeremy, if you're hearing this, we'll see you back at 6:30 p.m. on the same channel. We'll be doing that live today. Okay. All right, let's see who else is coming in. Hi, Marquise. I hope I'm saying that name right. Bankston Devon. Endless love and blessings to you all. Okay. And Miss Deborah. Hello, Dr. Sharon family. Hello, hello, hello. All right, you guys. So as you can see, when you give those thumbs up, it goes out. All right, where do I begin today? All right, so let's begin here. Oh, so much to begin. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to run down my list. Some stuff I may pop back to because I thought about it afterwards. So I try to keep stuff in order, but if I don't, it's all right. It's all right. All right. First of all, there was a world court order that came down today. Not today, came down this week. Okay. The man's name is Kevin Arnett. If you are in the school, you got the information on the world verdict that came down and information on Kevin Arnett. Do understand this is common law. So do know the criminal courts are commercial, right? And they're not our courts. That's why we shouldn't even go in them, because we're not commercial. We are natural men and natural women. So that's the first thing that you have to understand. And remember, it goes back to what I always say before. You have to know who you are. Hey, Shiloh, how are you? Good afternoon. Y'all see how Shiloh always does the backwards stuff? He does the frontwards and backwards. Hi, Harrison. How are you? So there was an order that came down, and we've been waiting for that order to be typed up and submitted to everyone, and it has been. So if you're in the school, you got a copy of that world order. And y'all remember now, Google and AI, that's all of them. So they're not going to give you the information. But I tell you what, if you're not a part of the school, which you should be, but if you're not and you want to get a copy of that, hit us right here, info@newstatusnewlife.com, or go to the website and just go over to send me a message, and I'll see if the team can send that over to you so you can view it for yourself. All right, I'm not going to go too far into that because you can read that information, but it's huge. And it's everything we already been telling you guys, is that it's all criminal what they're doing. And now what is happening, it's just coming to life. Everything is just coming to the forefront. And so this gets me down to my next thing, which I don't have. I wanted y'all to see my own credential card, and I'm sorry I didn't get it, and I can't go get it right now because I'm already in the live and I forgot, but I'll show you next week. But anyway, everybody has a credential card, right? When you become status corrected, you have to order it. They'll give you 2. All right. So when you get your credential card, you all, on the back of it, it's words saying like, do not detain, do not do this, you can't do that, blah, blah, blah. And there's a barcode. Now these credential cards are being accepted everywhere. They're being accepted everywhere. And they've already been through the test. And I think I mentioned that last week, but I wanted to reiterate that, because if you're status corrected and you don't have your credential card, you need to get your credential card. And you can get your credential cards through Global Bank. So you got to handle that, you guys. You got to get your status correction paperwork done. You need to make sure your paperwork is uploaded to Global Bank, and you need to make sure that you're getting your credential cards. We're still having issues with some of these assemblies not recording. And I'm going to put it out there. I'm not going to say too much because I don't want to come off being not cooperative. But at the same time, we need y'all to be cooperative. I mean, they're literally holding some people in our school paperwork for months. And it's ridiculous at this point. So if you're still having issues with getting your documents recorded, you need to get with a member on the team so we can help you with that. Okay, not the creation of your documents. Okay, that's something totally different. I'm talking about if you have your documents in hand, they're already notarized, you got everything that you need to get done with it. Okay, we need to keep pushing you ahead. So if your documents are just in limbo and you sent it to an assembly and they're not doing what they need to do, let us know so we can give you direction on what to do to get that done. Y'all, it's a matter of 5 minutes. I don't even understand it. Okay, so let's help you get that done. Then you get your credential card. Now, this is what is happening right now. And I told you their printed credential cards are being accepted everywhere. So it shouldn't be an issue with you and your credential card anymore. But what is happening right now, the Ohio Assembly, and shout out to the Ohio Assembly, you guys. They're the first one who actually stated ex parte Milligan, which means that they are now the official true American court that is actually active and standing. Okay. And shout out to Louisiana, because I got message this week that Louisiana Assembly will soon be making an announcement that they are standing. So that means that they have their own common law court, you guys. Everything is how it should be and running how it should be. So, Ohio did some research and they went to the AAMV. So for those that know, that's the Association of American Motor Vehicles. The first thing you have to understand, you guys, is that you have to know the definition of driver. You have to understand the definition of a motor vehicle, because none are you. All right. So what they found was, and this is what you have to truly understand. They went on their website. They have research teams now that are literally researching these areas to try to figure out, well, what the heck is going on? Why do they feel as though they still have jurisdiction over someone who is private, okay, who has status corrected? And what they found was there's a code that they're using on those who are not branded. And literally the word is branded, like a cattle. They literally call it branded. And so when you don't have any brandings, and brandings could be, it's different categories, but most of us would be in the category of 00, which states there is no branding. So what they're saying is that that's how they're getting jurisdiction, because they're pushing everybody into the 00 where they have no branding. And they don't have a code for us. They don't have a code. So what they're doing is they're recommending that they get a code for those that are private. And the code that they're they're telling them that they want them to implement is code 99, which will be for private Americans. And also if they're driving around with those Z tags, so if you're a private American, you can literally get a license plate, right? And they call those Z, the letter Z, they call those Z tags. And so they're asking them to have the code 99 and have the code ZZ to represent. If you have a credential card, you'll be in a category of 99. And if you're driving with a Z tag, you'll be in a category of ZZ, and tell them pretty much to leave us the hell alone. All right. So that's what they're working on right now. Congratulations, Deborah. She started her status correction paperwork. Hi, Kimberly. So that is what's happening right now. So we're going to be watchful of this document that's literally going out. And you all, this is something else that I just found out. I kind of knew this anyway, because we had heard this before, and I think I mentioned it on the lives. You do know that well, let me start here. Let me, before I go there, let me start here, because this is the question I need to ask you. QR code on my computer no longer works. Not sure what's going on. Yeah, it might not be turned on yet. Oh, you said no longer, so I don't know. Because remember, there's a major changeover happening right now. So just hold tight, because I'm sure it may start working again. But okay, let me come back to my train of thought, because y'all know I will lose my train of thought, and then I'll forget what I'm talking about. So y'all have to tell me what I'm talking about. All right, but let me ask this question. It's going to help me stay on track, and then I'm going to come back and say what I needed to say. How many states are in the union? How many states are in the union? And put it in chat. How many states are in the union? Okay, Kelly says 50. Anybody else popping in some numbers? How many states are in the union? Let me see if we get any more. Anybody else? Y'all scared to answer? We got almost 20 people in here. Okay. Okay, Harrison says 13, so he's going with the 13 colonies. CJ Flash says 48. Dana and Jeremy going with the 13 colonies. Okay, so let's go back. Okay, we got Gerald going with the 50. All right, so you all, this is the thing. They're actually 100. Let me put that in chat. Let me put that in chat. There are 100 states in the union. Okay, I need everybody to understand that there are 100. And the reason that there are 100 because, first of all, you have, let's just use my birth, Pennsylvania. You have Pennsylvania state, right? That's the land jurisdiction. But then you also have state of. You also have state of. So we have some other ones coming in, 51, 13 to 15, and CJ is following up with the wow, okay? You have to understand that. You have Pennsylvania state, which is our land jurisdiction. That is the Trump. That's the American jurisdiction, okay? But when you deal with these courts and see jurisdiction and all of that, that is the state of. That's why they always call it the state of state. All right. So on your court papers and anything you're dealing with in that commercial entity, it's going to always say state of Pennsylvania or state of California or state of Georgia or state of Delaware or state of Nebraska. It's always going to be state of. That's why I always tell you, you have to know who you are. Okay. And so that's why you status correct, because you come back to the correct jurisdiction, which is the Pennsylvania state or the California state. All right. Does everybody understand that? Because it's important for you all to understand that right now. And it will probably continue to be that way because they're not going away. It's just that we're telling them to obey. That's it. We're telling them to get back into your proper position. Because remember now, we're under the Declaration of Independence, and the Constitution is their contract, telling them about the services that they're supposed to be given to us. All right. So I wanted y'all to understand, because when you understand how this is working, your mind can click better. And that takes me to the next thing we need to talk about, which is, y'all, everything is aligned to one. And you have to begin to get this. And when I mean everything is aligned to come to one, this is what I'm talking about. Your spiritual connection is going to join up with your mental connection of understanding, and your physical is going to line up with your spiritual, which is going to line up with your mental. What do I mean when I say that? You have to take care of you, because that's the only way you're going to survive on this journey. And you're going to have to do the things you need to do. You guys, you have to be fair. You have to be just. You have to live a life on how our Creator expects us to live. You cannot do wrong to your fellow man. You can't be backbiting. You have to do something that's going to pour into your spirit on a daily basis to grow. And why do I say that? Let's just say, for instance, and I'm sure we'll probably talk about this evening when we do Case Watch, but all of the cases that I've been involved in, do you know I've gotten spiritual downloads in the middle of the night to tell me what my next step should have been or should be? Okay. That's why I'm telling you, all of this is an alignment. So if I'm sitting back and I'm trying to beat somebody out of money, or I'm trying to get over on somebody, do you think I would have gotten spiritual downloads to tell me what I needed to do to handcuff these people and box them in to the point that they couldn't move or do anything? No. So I'm telling you, you have to make sure you're dealing with the total body, the total mind, and the total spirit. You can't get away with that on this journey. Okay. You have, there you go, Paris. Let me put his back up there. You have to live a life of honor. I can't stress that enough, because it's all in alignment. All right. So I'm sure now you can see places in your life where you're spiritually growing. You can see places in your life where you're mentally growing, and even your body. I'm careful on what I put in my mouth. Now, do I eat that from time to time? Yes, I do. I ain't gonna lie. I like a Burger King burger from time to time, but I'm not eating them every day. Okay. And it's very few and far and few between that I do eat them. But the point I'm trying to make is it's in moderation. Okay, that's why I tell you I do my spring water on a daily basis. I try to stay away from man-made foods. I try to only deal with foods that have seeds in them. Okay, that's a daily walk. So I'm not going to stick too long with that, but I'm just trying to get y'all to understand you can't separate. So when I'm sitting here talking about credential cards and I'm sitting here talking about status correction, it is just as important as me talking about you need to make sure that you're eating correctly. You need to make sure that your mental is in order. Okay? Because all of that is in alignment. Okay, divine. There you go, divine alignment. Okay, because it's important to this journey. And I'm gonna give an update on the bank a little in a little bit. All right, let me see. So we talked about that. Okay, so enough. So I told you about the World Court verdict that came down this week. If you want a copy of it, just send go to the website and just send us a message. And I'll tell the team to send you over the link that has all the information of the verdict, who's in trouble, so on and so forth. Now, let me tell you what else is happening this week. The Secretary of State are no longer accepting mail in some areas, in some territories, because there's no one there. You all already saw that the government is shutting down. Now, don't get distracted because they're going to want to try to focus you this way on their news and their information that they're putting out. And even their own president said that the press are liars. He said it themselves. He said, you can't believe 99% of what they say because I told you it's a mess over there. But what you can take to the bank is what's happening is that there is clearly a shutdown. But let's be clear on why there's a shutdown. There's a shutdown because they don't have any money. Period. Point blank. They don't have any funds, you guys, because remember, we collapsed all of those trusts and moved them back over. That's how the bank is funded. Through the trust that was our monies anyway. Okay. So now they have no money to fund anything. I don't care what they can sit back and say it's because the Democrats are not passing what the Republicans said. They can do that back and forth BS all day long. It doesn't matter because it's all a lie. It's not precedent on anybody agreeing on anything. There is no money. Okay. And so you have to begin to understand what's going on. And that goes back. That's right. Fake news. So you have to go back to understanding who you are. When you understand who you are, you know that if your status corrected, your money is there in the bank. Okay. Because we already collapsed those trusts a long time ago. And that's how the bank got funded. And that's how it is funded. Okay. And we even talked about the St. Germain Trust as well. All of that has been taken care of. All right. So what is happening right now is that there are no negotiations that can take place. The only negotiation that can take place is with the American Federation, which states y'all get back in your proper place and you'll get paid. That's what's going on. Okay. And so that's where we are right now. So as far as that part is concerned, really just really understand where your news needs to come from and be careful in taking in what you're seeing, because remember, they are programs that are programming you. All right. Okay. So this week, again, some of the territories, the Secretary of State, they can't even accept any mail anymore because they're not there. Nobody's there. You already see the IRS is shut down. Y'all know I've been told y'all the IRS is shut down. Those little letters and stuff that you're getting, those are computer generated. You don't see nobody's name signed on it, do you? No. They're coming from a computer. All right. And yesterday, was it yesterday or day before yesterday, 75,000 IRS agents were let go. They don't have any funding to pay anybody because we took back all of the funding to be in control over it. All right. So I want to talk about, let's go back to the credential card. Remember I told you I got notes on here because there's different things I needed to talk about that I forgot. Going back to the credential card, when you get your credential card, you need to see if you can do a rural route address on it. And let me put this in chat. Rural route address. And I did a video that shows you how to set one up. Give me a second. Rural route address. I did a video to show you how to set it up. All right. So just go to one of my things. I don't know where I think I put it in New Status, New Life Nation playlist. But I showed you how to set one up. But this is why I want you to be careful, because you need to do a test to yourself once you set up your rural route address. That's the address you need to put on your credential card, or you need to do a P.O. box. Now, I got my credential card a long time ago. So a lot of this stuff, again, I had to be used as a guinea pig before I really knew what to start teaching other people. Now, on your credential card, you should not put the place that you lay your head. So if your rural route address is not working, and it depends on your territory, sometime your mail will get to you, sometime it will not. Okay, some post offices, they actually will go by it, and some will not. They will honor it, some will not honor it. So it depends on where you live. But do a test once you set up a rural route address for yourself. Do a test in mailing a piece of mail to yourself to see if you receive it. Okay. And then the return address, put the return address to your regular address that the post office uses. Put that as the return address, and then use the mailing address as your rural route. And if it doesn't go through, you'll see it because they'll return it to you, and they'll put the little arrow that they're returning it, undeliverable, they'll put. Okay. But I want you to use your rural route address. Let me put it back up here again. For those that don't have credential cards yet, set up a rural route address. If it doesn't work for you, then just go get a P.O. box. And why is this important? Because remember, you're private. You're private, so no one should know where you are. No one should know where you live. No one should know where you lay your head. And that's one thing I've done very, very well. You'll never know where I am, ever. That's one thing I don't do, is I hardly ever post in real time. I hardly ever post in real time, and I hardly ever do lives. And if you see me doing a live, I'm doing it from a place that you don't know where I am. Okay, because it's for your safety. You're private. So you need to make sure you hone in on that and you understand that. Okay. All right. Give me a thumbs up to make sure you understand for the rural route address, and go to my playlist, because again, I'll show you how to set one up. All right. This week, I told you there's so much happening this week. Oh my goodness, there's so much. So we talked about the world verdict that finally came down that you can read yourself. Kevin Arnett, Annette has the actual, he breaks down everything for us. Okay. And let me see what y'all are saying. All right, heard. Thumbs up. Okay, for those that are coming in, give us thumbs up, you guys, to the live. Please don't forget to like and share. You have no idea how it helps. To everybody who has come in that has not liked it, go ahead and hit a like. Give us a thumbs up and watch how the count goes up. Okay, you have no idea how that helps us. And thank you for those who have sent donations for me to get me a Starbucks coffee. Okay, I thank you for, y'all have no idea, because when it does make me feel good. It makes me feel good. And then I hope it makes you feel good, because we're doing that exchange of energy. And it just, I don't know, it just does something to my heart that I am appreciated. And I thank you so much for that. All right. So now, this week, there were those that, okay, remember I told you I came in this in 2009? And in 2009, no one was talking about this above ground. Everything I was learning, I was having to learn it underground. So that means I was going to private meetings, and it was secrecy. It was secrecy. You just didn't talk about this stuff because nobody knew what the heck was going on. And people were getting in trouble. People were being arrested for this information. And some people, they were even being unalived. Okay. Now, a group of researchers that researched all this information years ago that were put in jail for it, they've been released. Okay. And so they are thinking about coming together with Anna to do a panel discussion about why they were in prison, things that happened to them, the reason that they went, the information they were able to uncover. Now, again, it's not a secret now, but you have people that were literally put in jail from this. And one is named William Shroud. He was one of the researchers of this information that was released this week. It was a group of them that were released from prison. And so look out for that information soon, because as soon as I get it, I want y'all to be able to hone in on what they actually say was done to them and what they uncovered years ago, and they were put in jail for it. All right, so that's coming up. Oh Lord, Harrison went to jail. See, we got one of our own. Harrison, you got to come on and be a guest on Case Watch for me. If you want to do that, let me know and send me a message in the school, and I'll go ahead and send it over to the team to put you down for our next one that we do. Okay. All right. Oh my goodness. See, and that's what I'm saying. You don't know the sacrifices that people have had to endure over truth, things that were true, and they had to go to jail. That shows you these people were criminals. But it's now the scales are tilting. Okay, so I want you to begin to understand that there's steps that you have to make. There's steps. I told my family, and let me go into the bank update. Let me look at everything else, make sure I don't have anything else I need to talk about, because I'm going to the bank update now. But I told my family that they have to be status corrected. I'm not playing this game. You have to have an understanding of who you are, because, and this is one thing I would say, Nidhi Bali, she does the United States of America podcast. And you guys, I need you to go and look at the podcast. It's called the United States of America podcast. I want you to look at the one Nidhi did last night and the one she did last week. The one she did last week, she was reading Anna's words verbatim, and Anna gave specifically what happened, how it happened, who it happened to. I mean, it was so many details. I was sitting there taking notes. Okay. I know I need you. And this is the thing, you guys, you have to learn this information. That's what's really starting to piss me off now, because we have a group of lazy people who don't want to learn anything. And it's making me angry at this point. You're too lazy to do what you need to do to learn who you are. And then, yes, there's another level of this, because after you learn who you are in this instance, you need to go back further and learn who you were from the ancestors. There's a lot of learning that need to take place, but my people perish for a lack of what? Knowledge. Okay? My people perish for a lack of knowledge. Nobody wants to learn. And so you have to begin to understand these points, you guys, because one thing layers the next thing, which layers the next thing, which layers the next thing. All right. And I had somebody say, but you've been learning this since 2009. So what? So what? So anyway, going back to Nidhi and say, yeah, we had the Empress. She said, yes, that podcast is so much information, and it is. I watched both. It was great. I watched her every Thursday. That's right. She comes on every Thursday. So again, just look up the United States of America podcast. Now listen, this is how I know it's about to pop off, because Nidhi has never, when I say hardly ever, talked about the bank, because she has always said our focus should not be there. If our focus is on who we are, and I have to agree with her on this. If our focus is on who we are, we're already living free. And this is what I have tried to teach you guys. And don't worry about the bank. Just learn who you are, and you'll be able to start getting out of these situations. I had one foreclosure consultation this week and one eviction consultation this week. And each one of those people that came out of those consultations, their mind was blown when I showed them all the remedies that they could go for, that they could go forth with, because there's so many remedies at this point. Okay. So there are things you can do right now, and you don't even need not a dime from the bank. But you just have to what? You just have to learn who you are. All right. Hey, Elkaman Hope Bay. I hope I said that right. All right. So I never heard Nidhi talk about the bank. Y'all, she talked about the bank. And do you know what she said? And I'm hoping I get this part right. And if I get it wrong, for somebody who listen and let me know. But I think she said it's less than 1% that actually have global bank accounts. Or she said it was one, I don't know if she said 1% or less than, I think she said less than 1%. Who cares? Even let's just say 1%, even if I got that wrong. Are y'all serious right now? 1% have global bank accounts that are getting deposits because they're not doing their paperwork and doing what they need to do. So if you have a global bank account, my understanding, you're going to get funded. Soon as the bank turns on, everything happens immediately. So don't worry if you haven't seen the deposit. The thing is, you got to have the account and the number and be set up. That's where I'm trying to push people to. And I have never heard her, this is my first time hearing her say, now what are y'all going to do with your money? She said, because this is where we are now. Now you need to decide what you're going to do. And she said, as far as my county is concerned, I think she said there were 30 on her county that had been funded. They have millions and millions of dollars, and they're starting to decide now how they're going to move out to assist. Now, one thing she said that really stuck in my ear is again, she's holding people accountable that are not status corrected. You know, are you going to move to the point that you're going to bail all of these people out? Because what's going to happen now with the government shutting down, no funds are moving anymore. Do y'all see how it's starting it's starting to tilt? You have to have an understanding of how things are starting to tilt. So in my family, what I am going to be holding them responsible for is that everybody has to be status corrected and have an understanding. I might even create a test that they have to take. Okay. I try to educate people. They just want to wait and see if it works for me. See, that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about that really makes me angry. My people think I'm crazy and I follow conspiracy theory. You see? And first of all, Kelly, I'm sorry that you're being made to feel that way. I am so sorry. And her statement here, actually, I'm sure many of you on here right now, or who may be watching this during a replay, are experiencing the same thing that Kelly has just said or has experienced it. Okay. And what I'm telling you is that, and you know this by now, you're not crazy. And you know, for those that want to wait and see, then let them wait and see. And then after it happens, so all you have to do is say, see, okay, and here's the steps you need to do to get yours. That's what I'm doing. Okay. Because I thought about this thing. I've been on here day in, day out, week in, week out, learning, teaching, learning, teaching, learning. I've been doing this since 2009, begging people, come to the classes with me, help me to understand this information, dragging people in, helping them with court cases. And now with the court cases, people start coming to me now because they say, wait a minute now, that stuff that she's saying, it is working. You know, wait a minute, it did put me on the right path of where I need to be. Okay. But where we are right now is we're at the door, you all. And so now let me give the bank update. We are at the door. We are at the door. And this is exactly what they said was going to happen. That's why this is so real to me, because it's happening the exact way Anna said it was going to happen. She said, what's going to happen? She said that the government is going to run out of money. There's not going to be anything left. But if you are status corrected and you have your global account, you now are going to be good. So that's why I'm telling you, when it goes to your credential cards, you're not putting your address. You are living as a private now. No one needs to know where you live. No one needs to know any of your private information. So even if you have a driver's license or what have you, on a driver's license, they don't allow you to put P.O. boxes, but you need to start thinking strategically now. Okay, you need, and that's all I'm going to say here. I'll talk more about that in the school, but I will say out here, you need to start thinking more strategically. Okay. All right, let's see what's going on. I love quizzes. They help learn. Yes, they do. Some here, I've been told that I was going to go to jail and that I was following an occult, that I was brainwashed. Okay, let's talk about it. Okay, now this takes me to my next step. And I'll come back to the bank because there's a couple more things I need to say about the bank. Let's talk about the word occult. Okay. On my Facebook and Instagram, I did a little bit this week telling y'all that you need to know that words are spells. And if who on here saw my Facebook or my Instagram when I did, and I was dancing. Remember, I told you a lot of times you're gonna see me dancing or doing something silly, but I'm talking about something serious. Okay, what I'm doing is I'm tricking the algorithm. Okay, how much does it cost to come to the school? $47. Okay, I have started my status correction. Good deal. All right. How many of you all saw my TikTok, my Facebook, or my Instagram on the word spells? I want to see if any of you, if you haven't seen, I need you to go and see it, because you have to understand every word is a spell. So when she said people said that she was in an occult, who said that? Let me see. I think it was Kimberly. Said she was in a cult. What word do you get out of the word occult? Put it in chat. What word do you get out of the word occult? What word can you get out of the word occult? Put it in chat, because I'm about to show y'all something. Okay, Janelyn saw it. What word can you get out of the word occult? That a blessing. Occult, exactly. Now, they said she was in a cult, but you know the word culture comes from a cult. So that means all of your cultures are nothing but an occult, because you shouldn't be following a culture. This goes back to what I told you guys earlier. All of their words, everything that we've been taught, everything that we've been manipulated in our mind to believe is putting a spell on us, and it's doing something to us mentally or subconsciously we don't even understand. So cultures are nothing but a cult, because cults are following the ways of people that are in a group. That's all it is. So that's why I always go back and I tell you, you have to know who you are, because you shouldn't be following anybody or anything. It's a spiritual alignment. That's where your guidance should be coming from. So when someone says that's my culture, that's the first thing I'm looking at them and say, you have no idea who you are, because you just told me you're following a group of people and you're doing what they tell you to do. So all of it's wicked. All of it's wicked. Okay? And so that's why I'm telling you, when people start talking out of the box like that, no, I'm not following an occult. I'm going back to where I was when I was in my mother's womb, and there was no such thing as an occult or a culture at that point. Only thing I'm doing is I'm understanding who I am. I'm a natural man or natural woman. Now, can you define that? Honey, give it back to them. Say, since we're trying to get some definitions do you know definitions are called definitions because they deafened your ear to what the true word meaning is? And even out of the word meaning, do you know even that is wicked? Let me show you. Because we're going to break some stuff down today. We're going to break some stuff down. What word do you get out of the word meaning? I already told you what deafened is. Definitions, it deafens your ears. But what word do you get out of the word meaning? We've been so heavily brainwashed. Harrison, we have no idea. And that's why we have to take the time. You get the word mean. All of the words that they have you learn, there is a meanness behind it. And that's what you gravitate to. And if you looked at my TikTok, that's what I told y'all, because weak, W-E-E-K, really means to make you weak, W-E-A-K. So by the weekend, you are weakened because on Friday, you have been fried. You're tired. Programs are programming of the mind, because the television tells a vision, tells lies. Okay, all of this means something. And you got to begin to understand. You always have to look deeper into what the word meaning is and how that word meaning is hurting you subconsciously. Okay, you got to begin to gravitate back towards truth. And it goes back to what I'm telling you earlier. The same thing I'm talking about now is aligned with you doing your status correction paperwork, is aligned with you doing your credential card, is aligned with you being a member of the global bank, because now you're going to receive funds that you need to be spiritually guided in knowing how to handle it and what to do with it. Are you understanding what I'm saying to you? Are y'all getting it? I need you to get this, that is not separated. It's one. It's one mindset. It's one understanding. It's one knowing how to continue on your journey the correct way. It's understanding what is lies, what is truth. What are y'all trying to do to me subconsciously that I'm not understanding? I don't trust you in anything you told me to do. I don't want to read definitions, because I know I have to look deeper into the definition, because you're trying to give me the meanness of the word to subconsciously deprive me of what is given to me by my rights, by my creator. I need y'all to get that. I need y'all to have an understanding of that. That's right. The pharmacy. Do you know where they get the word pharmacy from? The farm. F-A-R-M. And then they tainted it with disease. Do y'all know how many people are dying from getting drugs from the pharmacy? Drugs. Over 300,000 people die from taking pharmaceutical drugs. Do you know we have drug dealers and then we have drug stores? Do you see the correlation here? How they mess with our minds? Over and over and over and over and over again. That's why I'm trying to tell you. I know I was keeping my grandbabies, and I had told my daughter and my sister-in-law, I had my grandbabies and my little niece, and I said, I only want you to bring seeded fruit. Don't bring no fruit here that does not have seeds in it. Okay? And so we got to begin to understand spinach, that's acid. And I love spinach too, but I got to cut that out of my diet because that's man-made. Broccoli is man-made. We got to begin to understand what is really coming from the ground that's for us. I don't want any food that man has made. Okay? So we got to begin to have an understanding of who we are. We have to have an understanding of whose we are. We have to have an understanding of what we're supposed to be doing. And you need to start understanding what your purpose is. And when this bank is released, which is going to be soon, how are you going to handle that now? All right. So now let me go back to the bank. Remember, the Saint Germain Trust is going to release the funds to South Africa October 15th. What is that? Oh, in a few days. Okay. They're going to release the funds for South Africa. Now, this is what I had to learn with that. South Africa has their own South African gold token that they're using from the Saint Germain Trust. Okay. The Saint Germain Exchange is a South African exchange. And I did not know that. The St. Crown Exchange. Fix it. Thank you. The St. Crown Exchange is an African exchange. All right. South Africa is going to have their own South African token, gold token coin, that's going to be able to be exchanged on the St. Crown Exchange. The St. Crown Exchange is de facto. All right. We don't need to worry about that because we're doing our own exchange on Global. Global has its own exchange. So we're not going to have to go to any airports to exchange our money. We're not going to have to do exchanges at any de facto banks. We have our own exchange that will be able to be done through our own system. All right. So it's important for you to understand that. Now, we're going to be happy for the South Africans because now they're going to be able to actually start operating with their own gold. All right. And so that's trying to tell you, you got to look deeper. You have to have an understanding. Get the heck off of CNN. Get the heck off of CNN. Okay. All right. People's allegiance to Big Pharma is disgraceful. Yes, it is. It is. And do know that everything that we have done the correct way, they have mimicked and they have hurt us. And that's why you have to wake up. You have to wake up and get an understanding of what's going on. All right, let me look at my notes. Do y'all have any more questions? But I think I hit everything this is the last thing. Do know now, you see that the common law courts are starting to stand. In some states they're already standing, right? But they're saying that there are not a lot of common law attorneys. Okay, there are not a lot of common law those that under justices that understand the common law. So on the TASA website, you guys, they do have books that you can start reading. If you're in our school in the library, I have some common law information, and I also have some over in equity that you need to read as well. If you go to Equity and Trust, there's common law information over there. And in the library, there's a ton of information. But they're wanting everybody now. Well, they didn't put this out. I'm wanting, especially those that's in the school, I need you to start reading up on common law. Okay? Just take your time, you guys, even if you read a paragraph a day, but you need to have an understanding the difference between common law and legalese, which is their statutes, their codes. They have over 80,000 statutes and codes. Okay? But now that we're moving to the point that the courts, the common law courts are starting to stand, you need to understand the differences there, because the common law courts, it doesn't take years to get through a court case. It probably will only take a week to get through a court case. They're very swift, okay? And the punishments are much deeper, because remember, we only have 2 rules. Do right by your fellow man and do right by your fellow man's property. That's it. If you come outside of that, it's going to be all hell to pay. All right. All right. Let's see what's going on here. Wow. As soon as I status correct, I will get my account. Yes. You need to go ahead and get your account now. You can go ahead and get your account now. And then when your papers are done, you just upload them. But don't waste time. Just go ahead and get it. How can we get in touch with you? You can go to info. Go to that website right there. newstatusnewlife.com, and you can send a message in the team and make sure that they get it over to me. Or you can go straight to my link bio. Sometimes I check this. Sometimes I have to get messages sent over to me. It depends if I'm traveling or not. But you can go here as well. Okay, and I'll put it up in just a second. Link.bio / I am Dr. Sherry. Okay, I'll put it up in just a second. Can we exchange through the South African this coming Wednesday? I'm not sure. I know ours will have to be released first, Harrison. So just know that it's soon. It is so soon. Okay, because anytime Nitty starts talking about it, and she has never talked about it. And that's when she started talking about it, I was like, what? Nitty? She's saying something. I know we better get a hand on what we're trying to do, like right now, because she never talks about it ever. Okay. All right, you guys. So just know it's soon, but I've given you all the information. And also, if you're in the school, I actually sent you all the link from Global, showing where all the states have been set up now on Global. All right. So it's a lot going on. It was so much happening this week. I couldn't even keep up with it. You're welcome. All right, you guys, that's it for me today. I did very well. Look at there. I made it under an hour. Join me tonight, 6:30 p.m. for our first Case Watch. Oh, this is going to be so good, because now I'm going to give you guys an insight on how we go into these court cases and we shut them down. This is where I'm going to start telling you the tricks that they try to come out with. I'm going to start telling you some of the things that I learned along the way. It's so much happening in that arena right there that I'm happy that I finally made a space to start talking about it. And so don't forget to join us tonight, because our first guest, you're welcome, Harrison. And don't forget to send me a message so I remind me to send it over to them for you to be our guest next time. But don't forget tonight, our own Jeremy Jackson is going to be with us to tell us his story. And we're going to talk just a little bit about Jeremy's journey. And I like to have very organic conversations. I don't like to have anything scripted. So I haven't sent anything over. I don't know if the team has sent him anything, but I haven't sent him anything. and he hasn't sent me anything. So you're going to be hearing very organic conversations right off the cusp. All right. I know you mentioned earlier that there is nobody sitting in at the moment. For the people who sent things to them, should they just hold tight? No, you don't even care if they don't receive it or anything, because you have your receipts showing that you sent it. That's all you need. Got it? You got your proof. Let them do what it's or their responsibility. They don't want to send it back, then let them send it back. You have proof you sent it. So well, they should have got the mail. I know what you were talking about, Gerald. Okay, thank you for the information. You're so welcome. Do you rest? No. Okay, CJ Flash. Thank you so much, Dr. Sherry. You're welcome. All right, you guys. Until next time. Well, until tonight, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Same place, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay? I love you so much. Bye-bye. And thank you for those who gave donations. Mwah. All right. Bye-bye, you guys. Love you.